Hi there, and welcome. This video is made in a podcast format, so you can go about your day, do your usual tasks, and still let your mind grow and flourish. In this episode, we'll dive deep into a topic that touches many of us, social anxiety. You'll discover why it happens, what's really going on inside your mind and body, and most importantly, how to overcome it and feel more confident again. If you want to keep expanding your knowledge and become more enlightened, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to check out my other videos for more insights and inspiration. Enjoy the video. Social anxiety isn't just shyness. It's the feeling that the world is quietly watching you, judging every movement, every word, every glance. It's that invisible tension in your chest when you walk into a room and feel like you have to perform even though no one asked you to. Many think it's a rare condition, but in reality, it's one of the most common forms of anxiety in the modern world. Almost everyone has experienced it at least once. The racing heartbeat before speaking in public, the heat rising in the face, the awkwardness in movement. But to understand how to deal with it, we must first understand what it truly is. Social anxiety is a biological reaction. It's not weakness or a flaw of character. It's an ancient survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, belonging to a tribe meant life or death. If you were cast out, you were alone, and being alone meant danger. So the brain developed a subtle alarm system to protect social bonds. When you sense that others might judge or reject you, your amygdala, a small structure deep in the brain, activates and triggers anxiety. It sends signals throughout the body. The heart beats faster, breathing quickens, blood rushes to the muscles, preparing you to flee or defend yourself. But in social anxiety, there's no real threat, only the fear of being seen too clearly. That's why palms sweat, voices tremble, and thoughts blur. The body reacts as if facing a predator, not a group of people. It's the same biological system, just triggered at the wrong time. The blush on your cheeks is the result of blood vessels expanding under the effect of adrenaline. The cold in your hands, because blood flows back to the body's core. Even trembling has meaning. The body is trying to release tension to prepare for action. Every physical symptom of anxiety is actually a protective signal, simply excessive and misplaced. Understanding this is the first step to healing. The mind believes it's being humiliated or judged, but the body is simply doing its job, trying to keep you safe. When you begin to see anxiety not as a personal failure, but as a biological echo, it loses part of its power. Psychologists describe social anxiety as a conflict between two basic human needs, the need for connection and the need for safety. The first pushes us to seek understanding, to be heard, to belong. The second urges caution, self-protection. When these instincts collide, we freeze. We want to speak, but fear stops us. We want to be seen, but fear being exposed. This collision between connection and protection creates the feeling of being trapped inside your own skin. Social anxiety often begins in adolescence, a time when the brain is especially sensitive to others' opinions. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-awareness, develops faster than the emotional regulation system. We become acutely aware of ourselves, but haven't yet learned to manage that awareness. That's why teenage memories of awkwardness and shame linger for years. History shows that the fear of judgment is ancient. In classical societies, public disgrace could mean exile. In the Middle Ages, honor was everything. And in today's world, social media has turned attention into currency, likes, comments, followers. The instinct for belonging has simply taken a new form. But the brain hasn't changed. The amygdala still reacts to criticism as if it were a physical threat. One harsh comment can trigger the same stress chemistry that once accompanied banishment from the tribe. So what can we do? The answer lies in retraining the brain, not fighting anxiety, but teaching its safety. One of the most effective methods is gradual exposure. That doesn't mean throwing yourself into terrifying situations, but gently showing your nervous system that nothing bad happens when you're seen. Start small. Say hello to an acquaintance. Ask a question in class. Hold someone's gaze a moment longer. Each time, your brain records, I was visible and survived. Over time, this rewrites the body's expectations. Breathing plays a crucial role. When the body feels anxious, breathing becomes shallow and fast. By slowing it down, taking deep breaths and long exhalations, you send a signal through the vagus nerve, which controls relaxation. It's one of the few ways to consciously tell the body, we are safe. With practice, this skill weakens the link between others' attention and the sense of danger. Perspective matters too. In social anxiety, people often fall into the spotlight illusion, the belief that everyone is watching and judging them. But research shows that people are far less observant than we think. Most are too busy worrying about how they appear themselves. Realizing this doesn't instantly erase anxiety, but it undermines its foundation. On a neural level, constant anxiety strengthens the connections between fear centers and self-awareness. The more often they activate, the more easily they fire again. But neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, means that every calm experience builds new connections. When you speak despite fear, stay present instead of escaping into thoughts, your brain gradually begins to choose calm over panic. The transformation happens quietly, but consistently. Emotionally, social anxiety often hides a deeper wound, the belief that you're not good enough. People who experience it are often deeply empathetic, sensitive, perfectionistic. These traits aren't weaknesses, they're ancient mechanisms of social harmony. But when turned inward, they become self-criticism. The mind tries to prevent pain by rehearsing every possible mistake. If I anticipate everything, I won't be humiliated. But that becomes a prison. To escape it, you must separate yourself from your thoughts. Thoughts are not truth, they're signals. The phrase, "they'll think I'm stupid," doesn't describe reality, it describes fear. Don't fight the thought, just observe it. Imagine it as a cloud passing by. When you learn to see thoughts as movement rather than identity, anxiety loses its grip. There's also a physical side to healing. Regular movement, walking, stretching, breathing exercises helps the body process stress hormones. The body not only expresses anxiety, it also releases it. Often, anxiety lessens not after a conversation, but after a walk or a run. The body understands before the mind does. And finally, connection itself is medicine. Paradoxically, the very thing that causes anxiety, human contact, is also what heals it. When you find safe connections, your nervous system relearns. The sight of another person's face, laughter, even quiet companionship remind the body that not all attention is dangerous. Safety can exist within connection. Understanding the biology of anxiety is only the beginning. Healing also requires compassion. The same instinct that makes you blush and tremble is what made humanity survive. It's the part of you that cares about connection. Don't reject it, thank it, then gently retrain it. Every time you speak, even if your voice shakes, every time you stay when you want to flee, you teach your body a new truth. Being seen is not dangerous. Being yourself is not unsafe. To understand why social anxiety sometimes becomes a lasting part of one's personality, we need to return to the beginning, to childhood. A child is born with an innate sensitivity to faces, voices, gazes. They cannot survive without emotional connection. That's why their nervous system is tuned to notice even the slightest shifts in adults' reactions. If parents or caregivers often show irritation, criticism, or coldness, The child's brain learns to associate others' attention with danger. When they look at me, something's wrong. That belief can form long before words do. This is how the foundation of social anxiety is built. It's not always caused by trauma. Sometimes it's just the result of constant unpredictability. When approval alternates with rejection, when love must be earned, the psyche draws its conclusion. Safety lies in silence, invisibility, control. And this conclusion often follows a person into adulthood. In adult life, it manifests differently. A person tries to be perfect, avoids conflict, controls every detail of communication. But beneath that lies fear. If I make a mistake, I'll be rejected. The body remains in a mild state of alertness. Even ordinary conversation can trigger a racing heartbeat because the organism still interprets social interaction as threat. Studies show that people with social anxiety have increased activity in the amygdala and reduced connectivity between it and the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for reasoning and self-control. That's why anxiety often feels like an avalanche the mind perceives, but cannot stop. Yet the brain is remarkably adaptable. It can change throughout life. This ability is called neuroplasticity. Each time a person takes a step toward fear and stays in a situation they once avoided, neural circuits reorganize a little. Fear no longer dictates the reaction automatically. It becomes one of several possible, but not dominant, responses. The methods of overcoming social anxiety can be divided into three directions: cognitive, physical, and emotional. First, the cognitive. This is about working with thoughts. Our interpretations determine what the body feels. For instance, if someone thinks, "Everyone can see I'm nervous," the brain perceives it as danger. But if they notice the thought and respond, "I'm just anxious," that's natural, anxiety decreases. A helpful technique here is cognitive restructuring, learning to test whether thoughts match reality. Am I sure everyone is judging me? Often the answer is no. Gradually, the inner dialogue softens. Not, "I must be perfect," but "I can simply be myself." Second, the physical. The body is the stage where anxiety plays out. But through it, we can also regain control. Slow breathing, an upright posture, calm movement, these are signals the body sends back to the brain. There's no danger. One simple practice is grounding. Feel your feet on the floor, your back against a chair. Inhale deeply and sense support. It brings you back to the present moment, where anxiety loses its power. Physical activity helps too. Movement releases the excess adrenaline accumulated during anxious states. After a walk, a stretch, or light exercise, the body seems to exhale and the mind clears. Third, the emotional. Social anxiety often feeds on shame about one's body, voice, awkwardness, past mistakes. But shame can only be healed through contact, through the experience of acceptance. It doesn't have to be therapy. Sometimes a friendly conversation is enough. When you realize, "I spoke the truth and nothing bad happened." These small experiences of safety rewire the nervous system more deeply than any words. There's another essential element: self-compassion. Many people with anxiety are extremely demanding of themselves. They may be kind to others, yet merciless toward their own imperfections. But self-compassion isn't self-pity. It's the recognition of your humanity. It says, "Yes, I feel fear, just like millions of others. And that's okay." When you stop waging war against yourself, the body finds room to breathe, and with that breath, life begins to expand again. Sometimes the path to healing comes through a philosophical realization. The world doesn't expect perfection from you. No one is watching us as closely as we imagine. People pass by, absorbed in their own worries, fears, hopes. We're all too busy performing on our own inner stages to be harsh judges of others. And then, gradually liberation comes. First, you say something you once feared to say. Then you attend a meeting you wanted to avoid. Then one day you notice your breathing is calm, your hands steady, your gaze open. The world no longer feels like a stage on which you must perform. It becomes a place where you can simply exist. But perhaps the deepest step is realizing that anxiety never disappears completely. It's not an enemy. It's a sensitive part of you that still wants to protect you, that still remembers an old pain. You don't have to silence it. You can hold it gently, like a frightened child. Say to it, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but now it's all right." And then anxiety becomes not a chain, but a compass, a reminder of how deeply you once feared rejection and how far you've already come. In the end, overcoming social anxiety doesn't mean becoming fearless. It means allowing yourself to be visible, vulnerable, real. Because only then is true connection, the reason we came into this world, truly possible. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Remember, overcoming social anxiety isn't about becoming fearless. It's about learning to live freely, even when fear is there. Every small step you take matters. If this video helped you see things differently, leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Stay curious, stay aware, and keep learning. And if you want to grow even further, watch my other videos. Each one is made to help you see the world and yourself a little clearer. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep evolving.